Hi, and welcome to ECCB Connects, a production of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. Have you ever paid attention to the colors of the food that you consume? Do the colors actually mean something? Antigua and Barbuda's nutritionist consultant for sports, wellness, and diabetes management, Dorothy Charles, shares insights on the colors of health and the collective benefits of those colors. Stay with us for the details after this message.
EC Polymer Notes, our new money.
Here's how you can detect genuine EC polymer notes. Feel. Polymer notes feel smoother than the material from which paper notes are made. Look. Look for the clear window at the front and back of each note. This window allows you to see through the notes. If you hold the notes up to the light, you'll see the value of the note in an area of plain colored print. Tilt. A holographic foil is on the $100, $50, and $20. The images move and their colors change when you tilt the notes. Remember, detecting genuine EC polymer notes is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Feel, look, and tilt.
EC Polymer Notes, cleaner, safer, stronger.
Thanks for staying connected. Why is it important to have a rainbow of colors represented in your meals? The short answer? Because colorful foods are rich in phytochemicals which have been shown to support the immune system. For a more in-depth answer, let's take you back to the ECCB's 40th anniversary lecture series, the Antigua and Barbuda edition, held under the theme, Transforming Health and Wellness, Use of Traditional Medicines, the Silver Economy. In her presentation, panelist, nutritionist consultant Dorothy Charles addressed the colors of health and the collective benefits of those colors.
Our foods are categorized into 5 different colors. We're encouraged to eat 5 cups every day. So, my question to you is, you don't have to raise your hand, but how many of these colors you've had for the week? Or how many of these colors you've had today? Okay? So it's a charge to you that when you go shopping next time, when you prepare your foods, when you put it on the plate, that you keep your nutrition with color in mind. So now we're going to talk about the colors of the rainbow. All right? So real quickly, you can see the various colors and their health benefits, or what phytochemicals they contain, and the health benefits I'm going to talk about in the next slide. So the benefits of phytonutrients are very extensive. Visual health, like lutein, which you find in the green vegetables. Then immunity, which all the vegetables and fruits will give you because of the vitamin C content and other phytochemicals that will contribute to greater immunity. Then the cancer fighting properties, blood pressure fighting properties. And when we say blood pressure, we all have blood pressure, don't we all? So, in terms of hypertension itself, or elevated blood pressure, these phytochemicals have the ability to fight hypertension and elevated blood pressure. Then, also, the properties to for heart health. Heart health is very important because, when the heart stops beating, that's a death sentence right there. So we have to preserve our hearts, not just through eating, but also stress management. Now we're going to talk about some food items, and I would like you to reflect on these and ask yourself, when was the last time you've tasted one of these delicious superfruits? So soursop, pomegranate, guava. You know what that purple one is? Jamun. And what about the West Indian cherry? That small fruit. You see how small it is? It has 30 times more vitamin C than the same weight of a citrus fruit. 30 times more vitamin C than a lime, than an orange, than a citrus fruit. And what happens? The birds and the ants and the bats and the rats are eating them, and we leave our backyard and go to the supermarket and buy something in a bottle to help solve a problem. So it is important that we are aware of these challenges and what we may be doing behaviorally that can help to promote our health if we change these behaviors as well as our pocket. What about these vegetables? These are powerful cancer fighters. Most of them are from the brassica family. When last have you tasted one of these lovely ones? Okay, so this is a charge and a challenge again to us to incorporate more of these into our diet. And then we have the therapeutic fats and oils, such as coconut. Do you remember the time when coconut was coined as something really bad? And the coconut industry went down and people stopped eating coconut? But the rest of us kept on putting the coconut milk in our Sunday rice and peas. Kudos to you. Congratulations for not listening to conspiracy theory. And then when we talk about our spices, herbs and spices, we know that when we incorporate them into our foods that we spoke about earlier, they have therapeutic properties. To close off, we're going to talk about the silver economy. And we really want to promote the support systems for local farming and agro-processing. We do have persons who are into agro-processing, and they're, producing teas and other preparations that we can use at home, even skin products as well. We want to promote sustainability of our natural resources. And that's where home gardening comes in. That's where the wasteland that we have, if you know that even if we have the wasteland, even if there's a little bit of grass growing on that wasteland, it's more beneficial to that soil. Do you know that? And then we need to promote buying and eating locally. And there's a movement called the ugly fruit movement. What does it mean? Because sometimes as consumers, we want to purchase only the things that look attractive, right? So the people who have the fruits and vegetables in the market, it doesn't look so attractive to us. It doesn't look as bright and colorful as the ones imported. So what persons do sometimes is go and purchase those that are imported, and it does not necessarily equate to healthier. Okay, so let us join the ugly fruit movement and purchase what's local, eat what's local, okay? We get more nutrition from those, especially because we know where it's coming from. And the continued protection of indigenous intellectual property and fair remuneration in exchange of traditional knowledge. What happens is that persons travel to the villages, speak to the indigenous people, get the knowledge from them, the same knowledge we are throwing away and saying that grandma doesn't know what they're talking about, grandpa doesn't know what he's talking about. And you know what they do? They run clinical trials with that information. They develop herbs, multi-billion dollar industry. And guess what? Granny's still praying to God to patch the roof so that the rain doesn't wet her. And they have taken her knowledge and made money out of it. And so the Nagoya Protocol is there to protect this intellectual knowledge. The access and fair and equitable benefit sharing. That's really important. We have to help grandma too. We have to help grandma. Because what we have here in terms of our indigenous herbal medicine, medicinal plants, it is of value to us and our economy.
Celebrating ECCB at 40.
Did you know that the first deputy governor of the ECCB was Sir Errol Allen, National of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Sir Errol served for 22 years, from 1983 to 2005. Now you know, celebrating ECCB at 40.
That's it for this episode of ECCB Connects. Thank you for watching. I trust that you found it to be quite informative. I encourage you to add more color to your meals.